everybody, welcome back to another video on my channel. So for this week's review, we're going to be testing out the brand new Ordinary High Coverage Concealer as well as the Coverage Foundation. So I decided even though the foundation isn't new, I'm going to test it out with the concealer just because when products are from a similar brand, they do tend to perform better mixed together. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So for the foundation, I picked up the shade 3.0Y, and then in the concealer, I picked up shade 2.1Y as well. The first thing I noticed when I was picking these products was one, that there was a smaller colour choice because so much of it was sold out. However, they do actually offer different shades. So you've got fair, medium and dark, but they also do undertones as well. And there's been so many times in the past where I just didn't know what an undertone was. So I was picking foundations that were just way too like dark or too orangey. It never ended up being good. And you guys aren't shy about pointing it out in past videos, okay? It was just, we live and we learn, we move. But anyway, I'm very happy that they offer that option. I am a yellowy undertone because I'm quite olive skin, so that's why I've picked the Ys of these. The foundation retailed for $5.75 and the concealer retailed for $4.75, but obviously depending on where you buy them from, prices may vary. Another thing I noticed as well was how cheap these products were. I kind of knew what to expect with the foundation when it arrived. However, the concealer, a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, but hey ho. Now let's talk packaging for a second. These are the two products out of the box. This is the foundation and this is the concealer. The Ordinary have a very specific theme when it comes to packaging. The Coverage Foundation has exactly the same packaging as the Serum Foundation, but obviously different products inside. The concealer is in a nice small squeezy tube, which is really cute, like, ow. So now that we've talked about pricing, packaging and expectations, I'm gonna go off camera and take off my makeup now, and then we're gonna get into testing this foundation and concealer. So as you can probably tell, I have absolutely zero makeup on my face right now. I'm going to go in and start prepping my skin the way I would normally do. This is the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. This is the one that I've been using pretty religiously, as you can probably tell by the dent in the middle of it. A bit of that product onto my finger. I normally warm up the product between my fingers before I apply it, just because it helps kind of melt into my skin a little bit better. Just tapping it onto the areas on my face, just so I can get enough product all over my skin. I tend to go over the areas that I feel that I need a little bit more mattifying, so then I just pat it into my skin. So once that is all tapped and blended into my skin, if you've never used this product before, they do actually recommend that you leave it to sit just to kind of like melt into your skin a little bit better before you apply foundation. As we are going to be applying face makeup in this video, I thought it'd be best to just zoom you in a little bit just so you can really see what's going on my face. So now my face is prepped and ready to go just like normal. I'm just gonna give the foundation a good shake, twist the top and pump some of it onto the back of my hand. As you can see, it's a nice thick consistency. That's what we like to see. I have a pre-dampened beauty blender in front of me. Now just going in and tapping the product onto my skin. If you're wondering why I'm looking this way, it's because I've got a mirror in front of me. I've decided I'm just gonna go and apply it to half of my face just so you can kind of compare the difference. I've got a nice juicy spot down here that is a little bit red, so we can have a look in a moment and compare and see whether or not it covers it. I know this product says it has a yellow undertone, but this looks very orange to me. Ooh. Aside from the obvious colour difference, it's applying very nice smooth consistency, no problem blending, it's going in quite seamlessly. Funniest thing is that it actually matches my neck where I've got fake tan on. I look fucking crazy. So it's safe to say the product is nice and blended into my skin. Obviously there is a colour difference, I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't lie to you, the facts are in front of you. It's blended really nicely into my skin, but it's also left like a skin-like finish rather than a completely matte finish or anything. So I've decided I'm gonna keep with the theme of the half and half face, even though it is literally like painful for me to look at. I think it just looks so obvious because this side of my face has got literally like no tan on it at all, but the rest of me does. I'm going to crack open this concealer. I'm hoping that the concealer will be the saviour here and just kind of even everything out. Squeezing out the amount I need onto the back of my hand. One thing that I will say that is really great about the fact that this concealer is in a tube rather than a pump is that you can control how much concealer you're actually using. Just tapping this underneath my eyes and in the places where I tend to conceal. I'm really hoping that this is going to help even everything out. I'm a bit confused because the foundation said that it was a yellow tone one, but this doesn't look very yellow tone to me. Oh my god, look how beautifully the concealer just blended into that foundation then. I can already tell I'm gonna like it. See, if I'd had the foundation that was like the same shade or slightly darker than this concealer, this would have worked out a treat, but literally because all the ones that were appropriate were sold out, I had to go with this one. This is just looking so crazy because I can't blend it into the other side of my face. I'm actually thoroughly impressed, like really impressed. So here we are, concealer now applied. I actually really enjoyed using that. It applied really nice and smoothly into my skin, blended amazingly into the foundation, which is great. Also slightly to be expected because obviously they are similar formulas from the same brand. I'd like to say on the whole that that is consistent with most brands, but it's actually not. Sadly, it's not. Now that we've successfully been able to compare no makeup side of face versus very much makeup side of face, I'm going to go off camera and do the other side of my face so I look slightly less crazy, and then apply the rest of my face makeup, and I will come back to you and give you my final thoughts on the concealer, the foundation, as well as how it applies with the rest of my makeup. Okay everybody, so I'm back. I think I've kind of been able to salvage the makeup. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you agree with or very much disagree with. After the whole half and half thing, I know it is very much up for debate, but let's get back to talking about these products. Starting out with the foundation, don't want to go over it too much just because this is mainly about the new concealer, but I did really like this foundation. It was very smooth. It was probably like a buildable coverage in my opinion. I'd say it's definitely a medium coverage foundation, but you can potentially build that up. Consistency of the product was very smooth. It applied very nicely to my skin. It blended very well into my skin. It also didn't dry down too quickly either, which is a godsend, honestly. Could you imagine if those two sides hadn't have blended in on top of the fact that I was already orange? I literally would have had to have gone and put myself in the bin, like there's just no way. So yeah, it didn't dry down too quickly, which was great because it means that you had time to blend your foundation in really nicely, as well as apply the concealer and blend it all nicely in together. If you have any other cream products like say cream bronzer, it means that just you have enough time to mess about. My skin didn't feel overly dewy when I was like applying the rest of my makeup, however it did still look like skin. Either way, aside from it being not the right shade whatsoever, it was actually quite a nice foundation. You want a no makeup look? This is what I'd use this for. Now moving on to the concealer, as you saw from the clips of me applying it, I did really like how well it blended into my skin because I think obviously they're the same brand. The formula is very similar, which means it just kind of like all blended together really nicely, very seamless. The coverage for this I would say is probably like a 7 to 8 out of 10 weirdly. Compared to this, that did shock me. It was a really nice shade as well. I wish that I'd had a similar shade of the concealer for the foundation. Definitely a higher coverage than the foundation as well, which I think is a bit odd. Like, wouldn't you do the same? I don't know. In regards to how the foundation and the concealer mixed with my normal makeup, it actually went together quite well. There wasn't anything like too out of the ordinary. The ordinary. That wasn't even remotely funny. I don't know why I thought I was gonna make a joke out of that. Anyway, the products applied all together quite nicely. There wasn't anything that didn't mix well, because sometimes with certain products different formulas don't always mix with different things. In summary, I did really like the concealer. The foundation I think I enjoyed, just can't get over how bad the colour match was for me. One thing to note with both of these products is that they do oxidize, and I think the colour match thing got worse the longer that I had it on my skin. You could see the difference between where I'd applied the original foundation and then applied a second layer for the other side. Same scenario with the concealer, like there is no difference. So maybe I'd recommend going a shade up from the one that you think that you are, just in case, because if it does oxidize, you don't want to think you're applying the perfect shade and then an hour later it's not the case. So that is it for this week's video, guys, testing out the new Ordinary high coverage concealer as well as the coverage foundation. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up so I know it really does help me out a lot. I'll leave links to the products in the description as per usual, along with links to my social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of that good stuff. Make sure you follow me on there. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel as well as turn your notifications on to be told every time I post. Thank you again so much for watching. Stay safe, stay indoors, wash them hands, and I will see you next time for another video. Bye guys. Oh my god.